Denver, deckhand and de facto acting ship's cook, and I am also privileged to have this be my second tall ship where I get to dabble in some engineering assisting, so keeping busy and staying motivated in that respect. I got into sailing over half my life ago on small boats. My mom is like a really big time sailor and captain and works on yachts in the winter doing their varnishing bright work at Crosby Yacht Yard. And but she never taught me a dang lick of sailing. So my dad, who knows nothing at all about sailing, he was the one who was working at Rivovich Yacht Yard at the time in Florida and put me in the sailing camp right next door to the yard. And I was a camper for one summer and then volunteered the next summer, and by 13 was making minimum wage as a U.S. sailing counselor, and then used that certification I think like 2 or 3 years later to work as a town of Barnstable Kennedy sailing program sailing instructor in the summer of 2014. This is my third tall ship, and the first one I was on during our 100th centennial anniversary of the ship last summer was rafted up to Ernestina. So I got to see Ernestina in Booth Bay refit and step on deck, and that was my first time on her, and got the privilege to help volunteer sailing her between the academy and our home port of No Bad Fed. And here we are now to continue doing some good yard work and get ready with her first sailing season after refit. It's mostly just the summer on the East Coast, so for like the main fleet of windjammers, tall ships, they are fitting out and uprigging and every year painting, starting as early as January, really, doing light projects, and then really ramping it up starting in March and April. And then in May, some boats, they get their first sails of the season going, and then even in late April, if it's possible, you get like a shakedown sail. That's the northernmost boats. I mean, besides Canada, I have no idea. So that season would then run till Ladona ran till the end of October. So they took on another charter at the end of their already scheduled season. So after that, it just starts getting a little wintry. But that's also around the time frame if a boat is going to transit down to like the Caribbean, say. You get Appledore that does that every year pretty much, and fitting in a yard period once a year ideally. So some of these boats get really worked in constant seasons or constant season that turns into close to constant maintenance.
Do you have a favorite story from your time aboard the Ernestina?
The Ernestina. Yeah, so the first time sailing her, I was able to go out on the bowsprit and get an awesome view of us going 8.8 knots, was it? With the first time the mainsail going up, so it was like 15 knots of wind, and to get this big girl moving that fast, it's like right at the tip of it. It was awesome. Perfect weather for it. Thank you for spreading the good word. Sail on.